Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3692. Today's date is November 9, 2025. It's been almost like morning at 9:14 a.m. All right, let's just jump into the question. Is it my recording? Is okay. All right. The question is, what if every religion share the common truth? Okay, that's a really good question. Okay. First of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is what if question. Why am I asking this question to myself? What if question is always really interested way to give the answer. It kind of like force you to think about that reality. And when I try to think about that reality, it really required kind of like simply my knowledge and experience that what I had and things like that. And when I try to kind of like simply um, reuse that information or knowledge or experience, like basically whatever the knowledge that I have is actually stuck at somewhere in my brain, in some sort of form of memories or things like that. And because when I ask this question to myself, I utilize that memory again or experience that memory again, and it felt something really good, it felt something really right, it felt something really that key amazing. Okay, so that's why I'm kind of like simply recording this, like that's why I'm kind of like asking this question, because I don't know, somehow it just felt really good. Disclaimer: the information that I'm trying to tell you is not exactly right or is not exactly wrong either. It is just my opinion. Okay, it's raw, it's unfiltered, it is just my opinion. And as also opinion are subjective according to the people. So do not seek any kind of like a some information, or do not believe in any kind of like a some information that I'm trying to tell you. It is just my opinion. If you need any valid information, you have to go to the internet and you will get the entire information. All right, good. Now let's proceed further. Now the question is that what if the every religious share this common truth? Okay, what exactly is this question? Well, this question is about the religion. Okay, and okay, let's just understand a kind of like a simple thing. Okay, I am Buddhist. Okay, and I'm Buddhist. Okay, like I'm not consider myself as a that kind of like a simply very religious person. I am not that much. Okay, my mother is a very religious person, but I am not that. Okay, I live in India and I seen lot of religious. Okay, in India, religion are very much big important thing. Okay, which caste you belongs to, it depends on how you treat and things like that. Okay, by the way, in today's world, India is not really that much like a like everyone get the fair chance and things like that. But still, in India, religion are very much big factor. Okay, now basically this thing, every religion has a kind of like a different opinion regarding about how do we supposed to live the life and what is actually purpose of life and things and that. Okay, let's just say Islam. Okay, Islam is a monotheistic god. Monotheist god. Okay, monotheist. I'm not really sure exact word, but the people who kind of like assembly follow the Islam, they believe their God is one. Okay, Allah is the only one God. That's it. Okay, in Hindu, okay, there has a multiple gods. Okay, like um, we have Bhagwan Shri Bholenath, Bhagwan Shiv, Bhagwan Shri Ganesh, Krishna, Ram. There are so many gods. Like basically in Hinduism, we have almost like a probably like a like like in India we have like a 56 crore dev असे म्हणतात. Okay, 56 crore, that means like closely almost like a 5600, sorry, 560 millions, probably 560 million gods. That's like a really too much amount of gods. Okay. Um, then Christianity. Well, probably Christianity. I never really been like I never really kind of like associate with that much. Like basically, is this thing. Christianity is actually exist, yeah, but it's actually exist in US and Europe. In India specifically, Christians are available, but I haven't really seen them that much. Okay, it's actually available in some part of Goa and things like that, but I never really been familiar with those people. Okay, so I'm not really new about their tradition and things like that, but probably they have kind of like some of the same stuff. They kind of like a believe in a Jesus. Okay, yeah, monotheist God probably. Still, no, I'm kind of like a bit really hesitate to kind of like give any comment, kind of like a big on about the religions and things like that. Okay, in Buddhism, we also kind of like simply follow the Gautam Buddha. Okay, but basically, is this thing. Every religion is kind of like a simply shape according to the region. Okay, I'm not really sure about the Christianity in Islam, but I belong to the Buddhist, so I'm kind of like a simply I experience this thing. Okay, so take a look at the photo or take a look at the portrait of Gautam Buddha in India. Okay, and take a look at the Gautam Buddha in China. Okay, you kind of like a scene very different. By the way, Siddharth Gautam Buddha is actually from the Nepal. Okay, and Nepal, Lumbini probably is actually from India. I'm not really sure exactly is it. Okay, but it's actually from India. Okay, but the Buddhists are actually spread more towards China, Japan. Okay, it doesn't really spread over in India that much because in India we have multiples of faith following religions are exist over here. Oh yeah. By the way, let's talk about the kind of like some different kind of like a some Buddhist portrait are actually exist. Like basically, if you went to Indonesia, their Buddhism is kind of like a look very differently. Okay, in China, Buddhism look very differently. In Japan, Buddhism look very differently. In Tibet, Buddhism look very differently. Indonesia, Vietnam, it looks very differently. Take a look at kind of like a something like the photo or whatever the statue that they made. Why it kind of like a look very different? Because obviously is this thing that ki every religious is kind of like a shape. Every religions is kind of like a somebody shaped differently according to their kind of like a space and surrounding area and things like that. Okay. So what is exactly like a basically what exactly Gautam Buddha looks like? Well, probably it's this thing that it's actually happened almost like a 500 year before the Christianity, 500 year before the Jesus. And at that time, we don't really have any kind of like a photograph or things and that. So it's very hard to believe that how does kind of like a Gautam Buddha look like, but probably somewhat something equivalent. I don't know. Okay, but what exactly is this thing? What exactly what I'm trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you is this thing that every religion has kind of like a different shapes and different kind of like a something perspective of looking at the world or kind of like how to supposed to get the kind of like some calmness or things or that or stuff like that. Okay. Um. Okay. Religious are not a kind of like a something a god who's kind of like a giving kind of like a some practices that you have to follow and things like that. No. uh, a religious is actually created by the people faith and believe. Okay, now where is actually came from, how do we supposed to have this faith and things like that? Okay, it's very simple. Okay, I'm gonna try to I'm trying to explain as simple as possible as you can. Okay, so let's just say that you are a kind of like a person who are like you are in the school. Okay, and you are kind of like a enroll in football club. Okay, now you just join. Okay, and you realize that there is a one person who is kind of like a playing a football really good. He can hit the goal very nice and things and that and that. And by the way, that particular person is the captain of the team. Okay, so obviously is this thing his skills are bit more kind of like a simply better than you. Okay, so directly or indirectly you actually follow them. You actually kind of like give him a pass, even if you had a chance to kind of like hit the goal, but you kind of like realize that he's a senior, he's a really good player, and probably you have to give him pass, and you actually give him a pass. Yeah, and almost like a 90% probably you have to give him a pass. Why? Because you are kind of like a very new and probably you don't know anything about, and you just kind of like a seeing this person is a captain, this person play really well, and you have to give him a pass. Okay, yeah. Now you give him a pass and that particular person hit the goal and you celebrate that thing, particular person. Why did you give the pass? You have a clear chance to kind of like hit the goal, but why didn't you kind of like give him pass? Is because of that our mind is always kind of like a somebody seek for someone else. Okay, yeah. Now what is actually seek for someone else? What is actually this thing? Like basically what I'm trying to tell you is basically is that thing ki before all the religious, before all those things, when the human kind are kind of like a somebody hunter gatherers, at that time our survival rate is very less. If we are trying to survive by alone, probably we don't really have anything at all. We are very vulnerable regarding about everything. Like we can't even run faster, we can't fly, we just not have anything at all. Okay, yeah. The only strength of human is actually comes from when we gather together and we hunt together. So basically we are started living together, because when we are kind of started living together, our survival rate is kind of like a became higher. And when we are became started living together, we are became a social animal. Okay, yeah. And when we became a social animal, then probably external validation is kind of like a became much more important than what we need. Okay, yeah. Because this is what it is, like external validation is something like and it is still exists, by the way. Okay, yeah. External validation, like in social media, people are kind of like somebody showing this and that, or they are kind of like telling that how good am I, or things and that and that. Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like somebody external validation. It's not supposed to be that key they are kind of like seeking it, but when they get it, that they feel really good. Okay, yeah. That is called external validation. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing, it's kind of like somebody started since we are kind of like started living together, because it kind of like somebody our survival rate is kind of like a become really higher. And as also is this thing that when we are kind of like somebody survive together, we become social animal. Other people opinion kind of like somebody reflect our personality, and it kind of like a change our things. And because of we are kind of like when we started living together, we are kind of like a following some sort of command or things like that. Like there is a kind of like a, in the tribe there is a kind of like a particular a king of that particular tribe who kind of like a lead us where should we supposed to be go and things like that. And we actually follow them even if we don't really agree, but we follow them. Because of that, even if we don't agree, then probably there is only one chance that that particular person will kind of like somebody left us from the tribe, and probably we will not gonna survive. So it is really essential for us that whatever that particular person says, we have to follow that thing. Okay, yeah. And since then, and basically it's like sometimes it's kind of like a thing something like that we actually agree that we actually kind of like somebody follow that particular person, and we actually believe that particular person. It started from faith. We actually kind of like a believe and create a faith in it. Like he is the person who kind of like a lead us to the good world and things and better future for stuff and stuff like that. And it still exist. Okay, yeah. When we are kind of like a playing the cricket match, or when we are kind of like a playing the football and things like that, we actually follow the kind of like a assembly command. We actually follow the kind of like assembly the what is actually our captain says and things and that, and it is what still exists. Okay. So what exactly is this thing? Because of this kind of like a some small stuff, we have started believe that other people are kind of like a some bit more different than normal people. Okay, yeah. So we have started believe that there is some sort of God is actually exist. Okay, yeah. Because of the God, like there is a rain happened, there is an earthquake happened, there is a sun and moon happened, and things and that. Okay, yeah. And at that time we don't know what exactly is this thing. We don't know what is actually the solar system. We don't know that sun and moon are rise is not because of the kind of like assembly god permission, is because of we are in part of the solar system and things like that. At that time we don't know that. So that's why we are started believe that god is actually exist. They kind of like a care for us and things and that. So we are started kind of like a praying to them. We are started praying to them for our goodwill and things and that. Okay, yeah. Now basically is this thing. Now this is what first time we are kind of like seeing the God at something that probably we don't really see in it. Then probably we are kind of like looking at such a person who are kind of like they think they are kind of like a mention that they are the kind of like something a person who connected with the God, and we follow that person. Okay, yeah, like let's just say I am the person who kind of like somebody made a connection with the God, so follow me. Okay, so people follow that particular person. Okay, yeah, and basically is this thing that since this kind of like somebody we are following the person, we are seeing the God in person. Okay, like Musa, in we have history textbooks like in Musa, in the history textbook says that Musa is a kind of like a person who's following the God, and he kind of like simply lead the people, lead the Israel to the Egyptian things like that. He kind of like across the Red Sea and things like that. By the way, this is a kind of like a story is actually available in Bible. And okay, but what I'm trying to tell you is this thing: we are started believe in people. We are started seeing a God in people. Okay, yeah, and that's why this kind of like something religious is actually started. Now, religious is not a kind of like a something faith. Okay, yeah, a religious is a kind of like a system. Okay, yeah, a system means what? Okay, yeah. Let's just say there is 100 people are actually following me. What exactly it means? It means that 100 people are following me. It means like they are kind of like consider me. I'm kind of like a little bit better at something. Okay, yeah. Now, at that time, okay, people following someone is considered as a kind of like somebody their job and duty. Like basically, let me give you context. Okay, yeah. In today's world, let's just say 100 people are actually following me. Okay, yeah, 100 people are kind of like came in front of me, or they are kind of like bow towards me. I feel really uncomfortable, dude. What the fuck did you doing? Okay, yeah, like basically, don't bow me. Just fuck off. Don't do that stuff. Oh yeah, why? Because like I am not consider myself as a kind of like somebody a kind of like somebody that particular person, and I'm literally kind of like somebody feel really uncomfortable when this thing actually happened. Like kind of like a couple of people came and kind of like bow to me. No, I don't want that. Huh? I want that basically you have little bit respect for me. That is far enough. Don't really kind of like do all those shit thing. Okay, yeah. Why? Because I'm nurtured that way. That probably it's not really. It like I don't want to be this particular person, and I don't really feel right. Okay, yeah. Now, and not me, everyone kind of like a think the same way. Like basically is this thing, whoever the person you are, suddenly 100 people came to you and kind of like a bow towards you. You are kind of like a feel surprised and what the fuck is actually happened, dude? Okay, what exactly is this thing? You are kind of like a literally just fucked up. Okay, yeah, you just said don't do anything at all. Just okay, yeah. Like this is what we did. Like that's why we kind of like a not let them kind of like a pray us, because it's not okay, it's not because of that we are kind of like somebody showing us we are part of, no, but it's because of that we are like it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. Now this is actually happened is because of that we are living in this modern world and we understand what does actually mean. But almost like 100 years ago, or maybe 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, things might be very much different. At that time 100 people actually came and bowed to you. You feel really good and you let them do that thing. Okay, let them do that thing. Now basically this thing, let them do that thing, and it kind of like consider that you are kind of getting some sort of value. Now basically at that time those 100 people are kind of like a bow in front of you. You feel that you are kind of like a somebody person who is kind of like a better than them. That's why they are kind of like a bow towards you, whatever the reason that would be. Okay, yeah. Now because of they are kind of like a somebody following me, so basically I am taking their advantage. Now how do I supposed to take their advantage? Okay, yeah. Like basically bring me food, bring me money, bring me this, bring me that, and they are kind of like a bringing that thing. Okay, they are kind of like somebody offering you something and things like that, and you are like basically easy peasy. Okay, yeah. Now why is this thing, why does people kind of like do that thing? Is because people are started believe that like at that time. Okay, let me give you context. Okay, in modern world we understand how the world work. In modern world, how but damn it, थांब ना.